Hi, everyone. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of questions about how best to prepare for an interview and thought I'd just do a quick kind of summary before we break down each piece of the preparation process. Okay, so for starters, congratulations. You've made it to the interview round. That's a big deal. So your mindset at this stage um, can be one of confidence. Something I find with a lot of job candidates is that the thought of interviewing triggers insecurity, doubt, stress, which is understandable. It's okay. Your brain and body are trying to keep you safe. It's unknown, it's uncertain. However, what you can do to help combat some of this is flip the perspective and imagine that you are the hiring manager or the person doing the screening interview or the panelist that's going to be asking questions of candidates. From their perspective, from the company's perspective, their goal is to hire someone who's qualified for the role and they want to fill that role. The longer it takes them to fill the role, the more interviews they have to hold, the more time in their calendar it eats up. And so, really, if you think of their objective, the people you're speaking with during the interview, whomever they are, their hope is that you are a strong candidate. So they're already coming into it with this predisposition of, all right, hopefully this person, shows that they have the skill set or the enthusiasm or the ability to take on this role, because that would mean that we can check a box, we can onboard them, we can invite them to our team, and we won't have to keep interviewing candidates. So keep that in mind, just as like a reference that the people interviewing you don't want you to fail. They want you to be a great candidate. On top of that, they've already seen your resume, they've already seen your application, they've already seen your LinkedIn profile. And so you have already essentially proven yourself to whatever extent is required to make it to this point. So it's not your job to regurgitate your whole resume or to come in and prove yourself in the ways that you've already demonstrated your abilities, okay? All right, moving on. Interview questions. So we know that traditionally in interviews, the hiring manager, the panelist, whomever will be asking you questions potentially about your resume, about your prior experience, about your gap year, about your career pivot, about whatever it might be. That's okay. If they highlight an area of your background, your career journey that you're a little bit insecure about, they're not doing that again to try to put you on the spot and make you uncomfortable. They're doing that just to collect information to make sure that that you're still a strong candidate, even though they might not have all of the information about a portion of your resume. So uh yeah, so just keep that in mind, that anytime it feels like you're being put on the spot or asked specific questions about different things, it's not in an effort to throw you off or interrogate. It's in an effort to just have all the information so that we can move along and hopefully hire you for the role. Okay, let's think about your personality, your delivery, your energy during the interview. So again, nerves are understandable. However, all the research shows that the more confident you present yourself in an interview, the better that resonates with the people on the receiving end, and the more likely it is that you'll make it, through the next round. Confidence does not have to be, fake or a facade, or you don't have to look or sound like anyone else. However, um, you know what it means for you to show up with confidence, for you to show your excitement or enthusiasm. And so, one of the best ways to kind of cultivate that confidence is to be prepared. So, you want to spend some time on the company website, on the company LinkedIn profile, on the company social media channels. You want to click on employee profiles, employee bios, employee news, whatever it might be, and really get a feel for who are these people, what are they about, what's the company culture, what's going on presently in the business, what types of products or services are they excited about, what types of acknowledgments or accomplishments have they had recently. You want to feel like you're kind of in the know. And sometimes candidates do all of this extensive research. They know the mission statement, the vision, the values of the company, but then they get into the interview and they think, oh, I don't want to seem too eager and, show all of my cards and disclose the amount of research I've done. I'd encourage you not to fall into that trap. Think about it. If you were the founder of a company or a manager of a company and someone came in eager, excited, and regurgitated your whole, recent website history and posts, while you might find it endearing or smile to yourself, like that shows that the candidate actually cares about your business and has actually taken time to familiarize themselves in such a way that often sets you apart from other candidates. Because if you just show up and wait to be asked questions and answer the questions and then leave, it's not very memorable. But if you come in and assert yourself and share what you researched and kind of take it upon yourself to integrate some of this in your responses, then you're demonstrating additional characteristics about who you are, the type of employee you would be, your work ethic, etc. On that note, something I should mention, when it comes to preparing for interview questions, I do think it's great to do a Google ChatGPT search and familiarize yourself with the types of questions to expect within your, industry or niche role. However, I think it's even more powerful to leave the questions to the side and spend some time thinking about what you want to make sure you say in your interview. So what I mean is kind of like reverse engineer it, start with the end in mind. If you have an accomplishment from grad school, an accomplishment from your first job, an accomplishment from the certification or training you've been working on, whatever it might be, if you have, say, let's narrow it down to 3 key highlights or accomplishments from your education career journey that you think make you an asset, that demonstrate your ability, that make you proud of yourself, that make you feel confident and capable, then you want to give yourself an opportunity to share those in the interview. Now, the person asking you questions might not say, tell me your 3 major accomplishments, and why they set you apart. However, if you know what those accomplishments are ahead of time, then you can strategically plug them in when asked different questions. So if you're asked a question about, a time you faced a challenge and overcame obstacles and demonstrated resiliency, something like that, then you already know the story you want to tell. You're not going to tell a random story. You're going to tell one of the stories that ties to an accomplishment that you want to highlight. Okay, similarly, if you're asked an open-ended question about, what brought you to the industry, to the profession, to the company, to this stage of your life, to the career pivot, you don't want to just be on the spot, fully improv. You want to have the story with the accomplishment that you can interweave in your response. Does that make sense? I know it sounds a little abstract, but I would encourage you, just get out a piece of paper, write down, you can make a list of 5, 10, however many accomplishments, or not even accomplishments, but just pivotal points in your career. They can be challenges in your career that you, again, overcame and developed all of these characteristics throughout, this process. But basically monumental moments that you could extract values, skills, lessons from, And then no matter what questions you get during the interview, it's like you have this little toolbox of all of your stories and you just plug them in. Does that make sense? You'd be surprised. You can connect stories to a lot of different question types. But that being said, do a quick search, familiarize with yourself with, the top 5 to 10 questions that you'll potentially encounter. And if in the interview you get a question that you weren't expecting that kind of catches you off guard, maybe you feel a bit like, fight or flight, deer in the headlights, it's okay to say, oh, I wasn't expecting that question. One moment, please, or let me gather my thoughts, or do you mind if we come back to this question? The people that you're interviewing with are human too, and they're not trying to trick you. So anyways, I'm going to pause there. I've shared a lot. Any final pointers? Do some jumping jacks, go for a walk, eat something nutritious, drink some water, make sure your physical body is rested and energized as well. Monitor the amount of caffeine that you have ahead of time, and review the job description one more time. So reread the language that they use in the job description and use parallel language. So mirror some of their language. And if there's requirements that you have not met, prerequisite skills that you don't have, that is okay. As long as you're around 60% quote qualified for the role, they want to know that you are willing and eager to learn, to grow, to step into this position. And people get jobs every day who do not meet all of those requirements. That's like a ideal wish list that someone wrote up. It doesn't have to be one for one with your background. So all the best. You've got this, and please reach out if I can be of greater support. All right, thanks.